Welcome to Let's Talk Ads. We're here to push your growth marketing tips, fun and chats. Tune in, let's rock the show.
Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Ads. My name is Andre. I'm the CEO of Admiral Media, an award-winning performance marketing agency. And today we are talking with Romain from the very famous tool Arcats. I guess, and literally everyone in my feed in LinkedIn, but also everyone I know personally is talking about your tool. Amazing success in the AI space. And I'm really happy to have you here today. Romain, co-founder of Arcats. You're two founders, if I'm not mistaken, but you also had your own apps before you launched Arcats in January 2024, which is just about 1 year ago or something. Your app sold. You had a couple of million users or even a couple of million ARR with your health and fitness app. And now, just 1 year after launching Arcats, you're already making a couple of million ARR with Arcats. Is that right, Roman? I'm really happy to learn more about that. Let's talk.
Yeah. Thanks for the intro. So indeed, with my co-founder, Dylan, we've been building consumer apps for the past couple of years. And when we were scaling our last app, which was indeed a health and fitness app, we realized that the more creative we were producing, the more profitable the business and the faster the business was growing. So and you probably noticed the same thing with your clients for the performance marketing agency. Now it's all about making good creatives. And as we were scaling the app, we thought, okay, it looks like AI is gonna completely transform this industry of marketing. And we figured it might be an even bigger opportunity to start working on this topic of how to help other marketing teams use AI to produce more creatives. And that's when we decided to sell the company, the previous app studio, and to start working on this new idea that was indeed Arcats. So it's been now a little bit more than 1 year that we launched the product. We are using all the best marketing teams, create content faster and higher converting content using AI. And it's just the beginning. And I think that's probably one of the most exciting markets to be in right now.
100%. Everything that has a tagline, we do something with AI, is skyrocketing at the moment. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more what Arcats exactly is? What does it for you, for those people that haven't heard about it yet?
Yes, 100%. So Arcats is a tool to create AI UGC videos. So typically when marketing teams need to produce creatives for their ads, one of the type of creatives that they will do is talking videos of UGC creators. And we use AI to create that much, much faster. So basically, instead of having to hire someone, brief them, and do some back and forth communication, you can just type a script, send it in the platform, generate, and it will generate a video of a UGC creator with the actors that you have selected in a couple of minutes. And that's the first version of the product. That's what brought us to where we are right now. And we have a much broader vision, obviously, for the product to help marketing teams build ads in general and top performing ads. But our core product that we started with was exactly this.
What was the biggest challenge building this whole tool? I can imagine when you started developing it, it took a year. You launched it in 2024, so you started developing in 2023, I guess. AI started getting around, but it was not at the stage it is now today, right? So what was probably the biggest challenge?
Yeah, great question. I think we had multiple hypotheses we had to validate. The first hypothesis was, can we build the technology? Just build the tool. And once that was validated, we had another question which was, can we convince actual UGC creators to sell us their likeness to create ads with them? Because our technology, what it does is it actually uses real people to create an AI UGC version of them. So we need to actually have UGC creators on board in our platform. So that was the second hypothesis we had to validate. And the third hypothesis was, let's say now we are doing those two things and we create UGC ads using AI. Do they perform as well as the real ads? Right? Because it's just pointless if it doesn't at the end of the day. So for this reason, even before launching the platform in January, we actually started an AI UGC agency service where we'll talk to a couple of clients and we will tell them we will create ads using AI, and you will put them in the ad account. And obviously the value proposition was it's going to be faster, it's going to be less expensive, and for us it was just a good way to validate that there was an actual result at the end of the day in the ad account. And that's what we did. And we got very lucky because the very first week we get the top performing ads for an account that was already spending multiple hundreds of thousands per month. So it was just all we needed to validate that AI UGC can work. And now once we had validated those three hypotheses, we started onboarding a couple of clients in January 2024, and things were super fast. And then, a lot of marketing teams adopting it because marketing teams want to be faster, and AI lets you do exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we still hire UGC creators, and it's still a pain in the ass, right? So this probably won't change. We've probably reached peak performance when it comes to communication, contracting, publishing, approval processes. The creators got educated and also understand what clients usually want and need and stuff. But surely a tool where I'm just entering my script and then the tool pushes out the content in multiple variations. It's much more streamlined and faster. The results that we are seeing comparing AIGC versus UGC, there's good and bad, I have to admit. So we see a lot of creatives that are on par with UGC, and then we see a lot of creatives that are performing worse. And then, of course, there's one cherry that really outperforms everything else. But this is still a very rare case. How do you see that looking forward? Will AIGC become so much better that it's actually replacing UGC entirely? Better in terms of how I'm perceiving this as a user, but then, of course, down the line also as a performance tool?
Yes, that's a great question. So if you look at AI in general, AI is a tool that doesn't solve all the problems that you have. So let's say you want to create an ad. Some people will think, oh, now I can use AI UGC and I will click a button and I will have a top performing ad. That's actually not the case. And it's the same if you ask ChatGPT to come up with, I don't know, a tagline for your website. You will notice that probably the first time you ask ChatGPT to give you a tagline, it's going to be a very generic timeline, or maybe something that you wouldn't have used it that will feel weird in a way. But what being said is, now if you want to iterate on lots of timelines much faster, or if you just want to get creative and back and forth some communication with ChatGPT to find a good tagline for your website, it's going to be very good at it. So having AI in your workflow doesn't mean that you don't have to do the work anymore. It's more an accelerator. And so I'm talking on the perspective of the marketing teams, the ones who really, really take testing seriously using AI, and those are our top clients. They can get insane results using AI UGC. And one example of that is this language learning app, Learner. So you guys can have a look at the Facebook ads library of this app, and you will see that probably 80% of the ads that they are creating are using AI UGC and specifically ARC. And the thing that they did very well is the ads are super engaging and super original. I know one of their ads spent literally millions and was bringing a ton of results. And I know the whole app itself grew super significantly. And the main acquisition channel was paid ads using ARCAD's AI UGC. And the reason for that is they were super creative at making very, very unique ads, and not like the standard, ChatGPT script where it's like, you should go download this app. It's a very unique script where there is someone, an AI UGC actor, actually learning English, making mistakes, and someone like the teacher is correcting them. A lot of people have seen this ad. And what I mean by that is they were super creative at making these ads. And without AI, it will have probably taken like a ton of weeks and iterations to get to the point that they got. And they were able to test these concepts super quickly, and then to do a ton of iterations of these concepts. So taking this exact concept and trying it with different actors, with different hooks, with different CDAs, And that's the true power of AI.
Okay, I need to ask here. So when I understand, I haven't seen these ads. So if I understand the concept, so one step back. The AIGC that I'm aware of so far is very static still, right? So there's an actor that's looking like the two of us now looking to the camera and talking something, and the voiceover is AI, and that's basically it. There's not a lot of dynamics, right? So there's not a lot of characters turning around doing something. So this is still to develop from my perspective. But the concept that you just described, does it work in a way that, let's say I'm the person that is learning, you are the teacher, so there's two different characters, and they just produce two different stories that they talk and merged them together and made one ad out of two RKS videos, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what they
Interesting.
did. Type the script and then did the edit. And that's especially for the app industry. That's very rare that we see an ad where there is just someone talking and the ad is performing well. And it's actually also true for actual UGC with actual actors. Most of the time, what the top users on the platform who get the best results do is they will get creative about the script. So as you said, maybe two people talking, and then they will do a very good edit, like bringing the videos together and like combining the captions, obviously the images, showing the app maybe in the background. And that's when AI becomes really powerful, because you can like reduce the time to get the most time consuming part of the video, which is the person who is talking. And then you can like do everything from the computer from that, basically.
Yeah. That's a very fascinating concept. I didn't come across such a video yet in my feed, but honestly, I'm maybe not too often on social media other than maybe LinkedIn, but so bad reference here. But most of the videos are really just one talking Tom into the camera and saying something about how great the app is and how they lost weight or whatever, right? So, and that's it. It is usually where the creativity ended.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear that you can actually put two together and make like a real story out of that, as if two people are talking with each other. Then you have a good interaction between the two that makes the video much more interesting and engaging. Probably super interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one example to illustrate that if you get creative, you can do very, very good ads using AI at a much faster pace, and then you can use AI to even leverage like, iterations and try multiple versions of this.
Can you take us maybe through your go-to-market strategy as an RCADS tool? What was your plan when you came up with the idea? Who would be your customer in the future? Did you develop it directly for apps and e-commerce businesses that were struggling only with UGC creators, or did you have something else in mind maybe? And how did you bring it to market ultimately?
So the vision is everyone who is doing marketing will need at some point to use RCADS to get better results. And we have some people with very small businesses, people with very large businesses. We have the whole scope of users using RCADS. But in terms of go-to-market strategy, being in the app industry, it was natural for us to start with mobile apps. So our first clients were small mobile app studios, companies with much bigger portfolio of apps like Voodoo. And we started onboarding them and building the product for them, because you know the space very well, and you probably know that they are the ones who are the most advanced when it comes to iterations, testing, and media buying. So we thought, and our initial thought was, if these people start adopting the product, the other will come. And that's exactly what happened. We started with mobile, and then e-com started adopting the product, and then lead gen and agencies and small businesses. And now the vision is started to like get to life, and people in every kind of vertical are using RCADS.
A good keyword. Going to live. Do you mean like RCADS could support TikTok Live and these kind of things, that the avatar doesn't have like a pre-written script entirely, but rather starts talking with some bullet points that you give that avatar in the first place and then only interacts with the audience? Do you see that coming in the future?
That's a good idea. I think the technology is not ready yet for having this kind of level of quality for live videos, live stream, which is very popular in Asia and China.
Yeah.
And clients in these regions are asking for this all the time. But if you want to have the same level of quality that we managed to have with our CADs, AI is just not like to this point yet. So seeing the pace at which it evolves, it's going to be probably a matter of months before this is possible. That's definitely an area of for the future.
I could envision some sort of managed AI or something in a live format, right? So that you give it like a starting point, it does something, but as soon as you realize your avatar is not going the right direction, you give it a push by writing something or telling it something within voice interface. And then the avatar continues to live stream and continues to interact with the audience in the way you intended, right?
Yeah, I think that's the future we are going towards. At some point, we won't even need to manage them.
Crazy idea. And once you've launched ARKits and you had your first customers, did you come across some obstacles with people didn't accept the business model, the payment that you were asking for them, or did you realize, okay, our computation is so much higher than what we originally thought we would be able to charge our clients? How did you go about this from the product side?
Yeah, so for us, it's always been important to be profitable as a company, because I believe now with AI, you can build a very, very profitable business with a very small team. And those are for two reasons. The first one is now with AI, new tools are possible and that were not possible before. So this means the adoption can be super, super fast. And if you look at the adoption of AI overall, you'll see that that's the technology that has been adopted at the fastest pace ever, much faster than the internet, much faster than mobile. That's why, like in terms of growth, you can grow very quickly with something that wasn't possible before. And that's the beauty of AI. And the second thing is, now how do you sustain this growth? And the beauty of AI is also that you can automate a lot of your internal process as a company to save a lot of time on every single task you are doing, and to build a company that is scaling in terms of revenue, but doesn't necessarily scale in terms of headcount. So to answer your question, yeah, obviously we had to be cautious about the cost because generating videos is costly, but we always integrated that into the pricing to make sure that we build a company that can sustain itself, even if we don't raise money, and which we haven't actually. We have been profitable from day zero, and that's actually our vision. Like maybe we will raise some money at some point, but the goal is still to build the best product and put it in the hands of the users before everything else.
What did go wrong in the product launch? Did you come across something that completely failed or something? So I've never launched a product. That's maybe the question is stupid, but I can envision something where you launch from the computation side of things, you launch something that needs a lot of computation. Then you suddenly have 5 customers and they ask for so many versions of a video that something crashes. Or how was it for you?
Yeah, great question. Actually, that was a crazy story for that. So we initially in January 2024, we onboarded just a couple of clients manually. So it was a private beta. So you had to go through a call with a member of the team to start using the product. And probably the first 100 customers, we talked to every single one of them, and we had a call with them before they even started using the product. But at some point, like the demand was so high that we decided to make it self-serve. But we didn't communicate on it too much yet because we knew that this could happen. What you described could happen.
Okay.
We just wanted to keep everything under control, to make the product better, to make sure like the infrastructure was gonna hold everything. And we made it public without communicating. But someday it was like, I think in March 2024 something. Yeah. I wake up in the morning because I was based actually in France, in Europe, and a lot of sales happened during the night, and like a crazy number of sales. One of the things I do when I wake up is we have this Slack channel where we can see a notification each time we get a new customer. And at the time we were getting, I don't know, maybe 5-10 new customers a day. And during the night when I wake up, I would see like 5 new notifications. So I open my laptop at 7 in the morning, and instead of like seeing 5 or 7 notifications, I see like hundreds of notifications every single minute, and sometimes multiple payments every single minute. And I'm like, okay, something is happening, so we are probably going viral. So my first thing was, I'm gonna open Twitter X and I'm gonna look at what happened here. And obviously that was where we got viral. Some of our customers started talking about the tool, and in particular, one customer, she had like just 100 or 200 followers on X, but she made this post about, wow, can you believe this is AI generated? And it was one of our AI avatars talking, and she instantly go viral. But then other influencers in the tech space started like reposting this, and then we went viral on LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and we even ended up on like national televisions in multiple countries. So that was the first thing I did, and I saw the notification in the Slack channel, but then I went back to the customer support because I knew, okay, now if we are getting so much traction, we are probably having a lot of issues and things that are breaking. And actually, the whole product broke. So at this time, everything was like had to be fixed. And in particular, at the time, we were using an API to do the lip sync part of the videos, and our API provider decided to shut down our API access to launch a competing solution because he saw that we had like a peak usage, and they decided to compete with us, which obviously is not the nicest thing to do. But so we had, and this part of the technology is actually quite hard to build. So we had to shut down the product for multiple weeks actually until we fixed that, and we had to relaunch. So the monthly recurring revenue went super high for 24 hours, but then it went down to zero because we had to refund everyone basically because the product wasn't working.
Not so much recurring.
Yeah, no, crazy day.
Okay, crazy. And then you had to develop your own lip syncing technology, or how did you get around this?
Exactly. We found some providers that were providing solutions on the market, and we also built some custom solutions. So part of the workflow is like custom, some parts of AI APIs.
It's a true EU success story. Did you have this could you imagine that this could happen based in Europe with all our legislations and whatnot? For me, it's very often hard to believe that it's still possible to launch successful products in the EU, to be honest.
Really? What makes you think that?
I don't know, the limitation in terms of privacy regulations. I come from Germany, right? So in Germany, we have some extra layers of getting problems with lawyers. When you put just one sentence wrong on the website, your competitor can kind of sue you using with the help of a lawyer and send you thousands of dollars of bills for one little mistake on the website. Then the tax regulation is so complicated. When you do one mistake in your tax declaration, you get issues with the finance department, and they ask you to pay millions of dollars just based on the plain valuation of your company, even though you don't have that cash, but you still have to pay the tax already for it. All these little things that make it very difficult running a company in the EU, from my perspective at least. You didn't see that from...
Yeah, no, I didn't think about this too much. All the products that we had been launching in the past with my co-founder were consumer products as well. And, most times when you build a consumer product, you start with the US as a market. So obviously there are some regulations specific to EU, but our market has always been international. So I never saw being in France or in Europe being such a big problem. That being said, we love to spend time in the US to meet clients because that's where our largest clients are. And I definitely acknowledge that US is like the place where everything is happening. And we are even considering moving sometimes in San Francisco or New York City. So yeah, I mean, definitely the US is the place to be.
Beating the competition. When you think of Arcad's, how it skyrocketed into the advertising industry. Have you also seen a lot of competition rising up at the same time? How do you see developments of the ad networks, especially, for example, TikTok, with their own developments and tools?
The market is super competitive, and at the end of the day, it's going to be about two things. The first one is build the best product before everyone else. And, I actually saw the marketing teams from TikTok using our product to make their own ads, even though they have an internal product that they built to create ads using AI. And the reason for that is just that we have a better product. So that's number one. Building the best product is how you get initial traction. And I think ChatGPT is a good example of that. They were the first ones to build a very good product with a chat interface to use LLMs. And that's how they got the initial traction that you need to kickstart the brand and kickstart the network. And then once they built that, on top of that, they built extra features that made the product better as you start using it. So now in ChatGPT, you have memory, for example, and now it knows about all of your past conversations. And now even though there are a lot of competitors to ChatGPT on the market, Claude or DeepSeek or all of these competitors, I feel like people still, at the end of the day, are going to be using ChatGPT because now it has all the memory, it has the branding, and it will be the best possible product because it was first on the market. So yeah, my opinion on that is we need to keep making the best product, to keep getting results to advertisers. And now we'll build like the data and the infrastructure to keep the users using our platform because they will have better results using it.
Yeah, I think branding is an important keyword here. When you get the users, or let's say the people like us, connecting, hey, I need an AI avatar, oh, I go to Arcats, right? If this is immediately connected with each other as the same way as, hey, let me Google something, or I want to use an LLM, okay, all the different options, but actually everyone thinks, oh, that's ChatGPT, right? So if you get there, you probably have built you have built a great product and won the market.
Exactly. To do that, you need to be very good with a good product. You need to talk to users a lot because now you understand them better. You understand what they need to get results and you can build for them. And you also need to be very good at marketing and at talking about the product to the right people, obviously. And yes, that's what we are trying to do. Just talking to the users and building the best product for them. And I feel that's how we're going to be number one, stay number one.
Is Arcans hiring right now? Do you have a lot of open positions? Or because you mentioned you are a small team, how many people are you?
Yeah, we are a team of 5, super small team. And actually, we are keeping the team super lean. We do hire engineers right now because when in the world of AI, where you can automate a lot of the jobs and the processes, the most fundamental key talents that you need to have are engineers. And that's the area where we focus most of the hiring right now.
And I mean, I run the company since 6 years now, Admiral Media, and my team is fully remote. Makes hiring sometimes easier, sometimes very challenging to build kind of a culture and everything, or to really evaluate in the hiring process if that person is really capable delivering on the job, right? How do you handle this? Are you all based in France, or is it a remote setup? How do you do that?
We are remote as well. And I'm curious to have your opinion. So how many people are working at Admiral?
We are now 18,
18, okay. And what's the reason for you guys to be remote?
I started it this way, probably. So I was a freelancer long ago, and then I started hiring. Back then, I hired someone around me in my location, but then COVID hit, and it was an easy decision to continue remotely and then stay remote in that sense. Also because I was based in a very, very small town where there was literally zero talent available, right? So I had to find people elsewhere. and I couldn't ask them to travel 2 hours a day, right? So at least I wouldn't have done this. So, I didn't want to ask them. And to be honest, I, as a personality, also really prefer to work remotely. Where this is coming from, but I always hated going to offices from the very beginning of my career. And I really want to avoid this looking forward. How is that for you?
Yeah, great reasons. But for us, it's been something we have been doing also for our previous companies, because we've been big believers in focus, especially when you are doing consumer product. It's very easy to end up spending a lot of time doing networking or talking to investors of things that don't really end up helping you building a better product. And I feel like the best way to be super focused, if you have the right discipline, is to be remote, because now you have no distraction from someone telling you something, from an opportunity to go have coffee with someone. And if you want to be very, very productive, I feel like remote is the most efficient way. That being said, and that was very true for us when we were fully consumer, when you are trying to target hundreds of millions of users, there is really no sense spending time with one specific customer to try to convince them to use your app. But now that we are more towards B2B and that we have larger clients, then I start to see the benefits of being close physically from your clients. For example, being in a huge city where you can have large concentrations of lots of clients might make a lot of sense. So that's why we are like looking at this idea of like maybe being hybrid for the future years. Because again, I do believe a lot in remote for product and productivity, but for sales, I feel like being in person might help.
No, 100%. I can assure you this helps. I run B2B for a while now and need to meet my clients and build the network in cities, right? So when I was living in a small town, this was a hard nut, let's say. So having a team in business development and sales, or your co-founders, whatsoever, in big main cities is definitely helpful. And if you are able to go to lunches and dinners and networking events and whatsoever, this on the long run will bring you so much more input from investors, from clients, whatsoever, versus staying in a small village and never meet any person in real life, right? So me, it's definitely extremely helpful to be in big cities. That's why I'm in Dubai now. That's why I was living in Barcelona for some time, and in Berlin, obviously. So it's definitely a positive effect that you generate when it comes to B2B connections. Yes. Looking forward, maybe as a conclusion for Arcats, where do you see it going now? What are the next features? What are you working on at the moment?
Yeah. So the initial version of Arcades was letting you create a UGC videos from text. And now we want to go much further than that. And what we want to do really as a company is help you get results. Get results from your ad account, get performances, get views, get engagement. And what that means is being able to connect the data of the ad account with the creative process of making new content. And that's where we are going towards, like building the integrations with the existing tools on the market to connect data. So obviously directly the ads networks, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, etc., Meta ads, but also with tools like Motion, or basically finding where the data lives and bringing that into the creation process, so that now the people in the team who create ads can automatically make decisions using AI to create new content that is more likely to perform using AI as well. That means is like not focusing only on AI UGC content. It means opening new kind of content. It also means like making it possible to automatically ingest some data from somewhere, use AI to understand what's doing well on the ad account, and use LLMs to generate new versions of the content that is already doing well or iterate new ideas. And that's the whole vision. We want to be like the tool that people plug to their ad accounts to get better results using AI.
Sounds very exciting. Wouldn't have thought about that. I was thinking rather like improving the video quality, simple things, right? So, but connecting it actually with the data behind the ads that you've created is a smart move, I think.
Yeah, I think we have spent the last, and actually that's a move we have been wanting to do for a long time. But first, we wanted to really, really get the best AI UGC actors before moving to phase 2 of this company. And now I think like everyone on the market like thinks if they need AI UGCs, they will use our ads because that's the highest quality that they will find in terms of number of actors, in terms of quality of the results. And now we have achieved this stage already. So now we are going to start like phase 2 of the business, which is like what's going to help us like really help the marketing team scale much further.
But you continue also hiring more actors to copy their avatars into your system, or is that something you don't?
More and more. Obviously, that's something that we are always asked by our clients. Also, the technology is getting much better at creating from scratch AI avatars. So in the platform already, you will find some AI actors who are actually not based out of real people, but are fully AI generated. And that's one of the areas where we've made a lot of progress recently. And overall, like being able to create more content using AI is what will help us really scale the ad account when we connect the data, because now we can bring the data and the creativity together inside the same place.
Is about the business, maybe one step back, looking at this as from investor perspective, are you funded, and also did you apply for some, or is the EU or France supporting you because you're such an innovative tool?
Yeah, actually we have some business angels from day zero, people in the industry, in the mobile industry in particular, who knew us from our previous experiences building consumer apps. So some angels to obviously kickstart the project in terms of funding, but also just to have the expertise about what the market needs. And since then, we didn't raise any additional money. We didn't raise VC. We didn't raise big rounds. We've been growing like mostly profitably.
Very nice. And do you get support from the state or from the EU in some way?
Surely, no.
Have you applied for such thing? They are always talking about that they want to support new developments, innovation, AI, and everything. And now I'm here sitting with the founder of a very successful AI tool, and I hear there's no support coming from the state.
Actually, we are putting 100% of our energy on the product and the clients. So I don't even know if we could. Maybe there are some,
Okay.
But we are just focusing on like making a better product and distributing it to the clients.
Yeah, that's something where politics could also improve maybe, and they could be more proactive actually. And not expect the founders to fill out 100 papers.
Maybe now with AI, you can fill out the forms faster.
Yeah, good one. It's a new business idea also. Romain, it's a very interesting talk. Thank you very much for sharing all the insights here. Obviously, if you guys from the audience want to ask more questions, how market is developing, or how they got there, what the limits are, and where it's going, contact Romain. He will certainly be very open to talk with you. And otherwise, thanks for listening. Ask your questions, put your comments into the channel wherever you want. And that was it. Thanks, Romain.
Thanks, Andre.
We're here to boost your growth, marketing tips, fun and chat.